talked about this before, how it has the word commissioner next to Derek Thomas. For some reason, that needs to be
Okay.
rude.
She must have not changed that, I thought I had told her.
Oh, like
And,
meeting and stuff.
Is the meeting correct? What days do we meet? It's the last,
It's the second,
Yeah, it's the second one.
oh, right, it says, okay, yeah, that part's correct.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was,
But it also still has Chris's name on it, so that needs to be changed too.
alright, I'll make sure she changes that.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
who, what?
It has Chris's name.
Chris is, which
Who,
Chris?
Tara,
It has Chris as the liaison
Chris Hall,
instead of me,
okay.
so I'll have her update that.
I do have a question about this though, because, I mean, the, tourism board has their own website and their own Facebook page. Also, the guidelines here say that, it says boards may not create their own social media sites. City coordination is absolutely required to have a social media presence. So, my guess is that there is some kind of coordination
With the tourism,
with the tourism board, because they have a website and a Facebook page.
I'll have to ask on that one, cause she said that was the reason why not, I don't know why the tourism would separately. I
Well,
don't know if
because
it's
we're trying to get tourists here with the tourism board, so I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it makes sense for there to be a process, and, you know, for boards that may have a reason to have a public, you know, face.
yeah.
And, you know, the historic, whatever there's that, historic building walking tour is on the tourist website. But it's from, you know, information that's from 1987. So I'm curious, would they want help from us
we
to
can reach it,
update that, you know?
maybe we should.
But I don't know what the process is, you know, for getting that sort of information updated, or like if there, you know, if there's plans to do something with that. But I just wanted to make the point that, you know, although the guidelines do say boards can't have sites, there's a board that has a site and a Facebook page, so there should be some kind of process there, you know. If the argument is we can't let one board have it because all the boards will want it, well, they've already let one board have it, so.
Yeah, I
don't
don't
see
know
why-
about the tourism board having one, but like I said, I'll talk to them again, that was what was told me when I brought it up to them.
It's like, you know, we're taking direction from the city because we're here to serve the city's goals, so like, if we could get, you know, I'm not saying we have to have a public presence, but maybe some guidance as far as how they want us to interact with the public if it's not through a website or a Facebook page, or, you know what I mean? We have the mailing to talk about, obviously, which is one thing, but I think, you know, a mailing that doesn't link to anything is kind of, you know, other than applications, you know,
Yeah.
we can get some good ones,
Other than outside, like links and stuff
Yeah.
like that, it's kind of,
you know, but,
I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, that's a valid point. And yeah, I mean, if there is a way that we can, you know, get in some kind of coordination with, I think it's Anissa, right? That's right?
No,
Anissa?
actually, it's, Des
Des,
and,
okay.
Kim from the police department,
Okay,
they run the website. They're the only two that have access to it,
The city website or the tourism website?
the city website, like I said, I didn't know that the tourism
Well-
had a website.
Visit Trinidad.com or .org or whatever.
Yeah, Trinidad.
That's- I mean, do we know who hosts that, or is that, like, who's that?
That's, Kim and Des are the only two that do the
Those are
city
the ones that
website.
The tourist website, the tourism
No.
board website?
No, the tour, we don't know who.
Okay, that's what I'm asking about, okay.
Yeah,
But
I don't
the city
know.
of Trinidad.org or
yeah,
gov or whatever.
they do our city website, so, but like I said, I didn't know that the tourism board had they don't meet here, they meet over at Art Space by themselves, so they kinda operate opposite of us, separate from us. So,
But it's actually, if I could just quickly, I mean, it's the LTAB now anyway, right? So they replaced the tourism board, so that website was developed, you know, before this transition or this change from the tourism board to the LTAB.
oh,
right.
So is that website not,
it might not even be operational
I
anymore.
mean, it's the
Because
first thing
they
that comes
also-
up if you look for tourist
No,
events.
it's still operational.
Yeah, it's still there, but like, are we not updating it? Is it being?
No, it is.
I'm
I
not
know it's-
sure.
I guess, I guess it's really kind of not our board, but I'm just trying to figure out, like, if that's linked to a project that a board that doesn't exist anymore, then,
No, they still exist, they're still a
Okay.
board and they still have a website, I don't know who runs the website, I don't know. Like, I mean, as far as I know, that's something with Marty, she's the tourism coordinator? Or what is she,
She's my equivalent
Right.
for the tourism board.
so, but yeah, I mean, it is,
it seems like it would make sense to link the efforts.
yeah, so, I mean, it would be nice to get our own page, but, I mean, that aside, I guess if we have to work with a little drop down.
And we could still do the mailing with links to the applications.
Oh, yeah,
and
Yeah,
other
and I
stuff.
got,
And I guess we could still create a QR code that goes to the board and commissions page.
So I know we discussed this newsletter. But the thing is, who's gonna do it?
Well, the email newsletter,
Yeah,
I'm
either
less,
email-
I'm kind of less enthused about that idea now.
Or,
I mean, because we can't have a page for people to sign up to the newsletter, you know what I mean? It's like, how do we market the newsletter if we don't have a,
I mean, the only thing we can do is just stuff it into the bill.
you know? But yeah, I mean, I don't know what kind of sign-up conversion we're gonna get off of the, you know. I feel like maybe our efforts are better placed elsewhere. It does, you know, as a, I don't know, it's, we can't, I mean, if we don't have a web, if we have a newsletter and say we've done these things, and we can't, link back to a list of the properties we recently, approved, or, you know, we can only link to kind of external things, we don't really have anything we can,
Right. Like
Do
a place
ourselves,
to
so,
put up,
I
like
mean-
our photos or.
yeah, I don't, you know, so I would say put off the newsletter idea until we have something
To work with.
to work with, you know, to connect it to.
what's the tourism website? Do you know?
Visit Trinidad dot something.
I was just looking on the lodging tax event advisory board, there's no link underneath it.
Okay.
I was just so that I can ask Des about it, if we can do something similar to that then.
It's visittrinidadcolorado.com.
So that might be the welcome center.
Yeah.
So that's not the tourism board, that's the welcome
I
center.
mean, the first thing that says is the City of Trinidad Tourism Board is very pleased to provide this website as a resource.
I think they donated money to the welcome center in order to provide the website. It's
Okay.
like their contribution.
I mean, it sounds like
That's their
that board
their
is
website.
managing this website. It said it's providing the website, so
Yeah, I think it's the
mean-
welcome center actually.
Okay. Then is that also, I guess I don't understand how the boards interact with that in terms of the information that's on here.
I don't know on that front. Like I said, I'll ask about it, cause that's why I wanted to know what the address was, so I can ask about it.
Okay.
That might be Marty, then I could ask her,
Okay.
cause she does most of the welcome center stuff. With the mailing, I checked downstairs with the ladies. We can book time, I guess you have to book time with them to do it, and they said the nearest time they have is July. Because next 3 months, they're mailing out stuff about the utility increases. So they can only do one mailer per billing cycle, if that makes sense. So if they have the bill, they'll have another billing cycle, or the flyer. It says it needs to be on an 8x5, or an 8.5 by 11 paper. That's the only stipulation, so it just needs to be a regular sized piece of paper. And it could be, put in, and they do 4 cycles a month, so we can put in each time. For that whole month if we want, or we can do it for 1 month and then do it the next month, or something like that. But she said the next time would be in July, and it's 4,500. We would need 4,500 copies.
So they only put one insert of any type in any,
Yeah, I think that's, we could probably wait
Is
to,
it-
yeah, so
yeah.
we don't have to pay more
that makes
for.
sense. Well, I guess we have time to work on that then.
Well, I mean, with us having to get
everything's
ready for, echoes as well, I mean, it gives us time to get it together, what we wanna put in there.
Yeah, just, I guess, kinda depends on what Echoes is.
June, 8th.
Oh, did they figure that
So
day out?
is that Santa Fe Trails Day?
Santa Fe Trails Day will be that Friday and Saturday, so I think it's the 7th and 8th.
You said June?
They're gonna do it on Main Street now because they're gonna put it together with a car show that's going on during that time. That way we're not blocking traffic more than once. It'll be just for that event.
So, we still need to make, I guess we're still on mailing materials, but can we move forward past that if we're not gonna be able to? do
Oops, sorry.
If we can't do a mailing until July or June, or
It would be
July.
July, yeah.
Should we just
Believe me, I went back and forth with them for like a good 2 hours trying to figure out when we would be able to do it. And I first started with next month, and they said they already have something going out for that month. And I go, well, what about the next month? So finally I just asked, when is it available? And they said July. So,
What about,
So, Tara, can you repeat what you just said about the date for Santa Fe Trail Days and where it's gonna be located?
Main Street, 7th, 8th in June.
The 7th and 8th of June
Yes,
on Main Street.
yes. They were gonna do it at the park over here with a carnival, but the carnival was not able to do so. So we had to move it.
are we done on the mailing thing?
Well, I mean,
I think we could still do a really good mailing, I think. I mean,
yeah, I mean, we also have to try to figure out our trifold.
Yeah,
It's another thing, I know Elizabeth sent in just a few little suggestions to it, but I think it does deserve a full redesign, I don't know.
oh, like a regular brochure?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that would be a good idea to mail, right? Would be
Is that what
the
we were
brochure.
talking about doing?
I mean, to start off with, yeah, but I mean, if we can't put anything before the trail or the
Well,
Santa Fe Trail Day theme, then, I mean, there's nothing we can do for that, so.
and I was thinking if we were going to do an event around then, maybe we'd want to include something like that in the brochure. I don't know if it's,
I mean, the event that we're gonna have is supposed to take place June 7th, 8th now. Because
Well, I
we're
mean-
gonna kind of put it around Santa Fe Trail Day, so.
right, but then we can,
We could do, like, what I think he's trying to say is we can do, like, an after, after Echoes, we could have, like, the pictures from Echoes in it, or,
yeah, I was just saying, we could have content from that event in the brochure if we wait, but then it's,
Oh.
but then I don't know, there's got pretty tight, timeline between
Yeah.
that day and then the July mailing, so it
we
probably would
would,
make more sense
we
to
would have
just,
to have it
we
the
could mention
first,
it, or whatever, but,
we would have
if
the
we-
first one, we need to have the first one by the 8th of July. That would be, we would have to have it that week, would be the week we would need to have it to them downstairs for them to put it out. So if we have that, that would give us almost 3 weeks in order to, after Echoes, to put those pictures or images in or whatever we want into the brochure to get it ready.
we can have it almost pretty much done, and just have like a a slot where we could slot in a picture from it or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Have it prepped and ready to go.
I mean, it also kind of, I mean, I'm gonna try to wait till we get to the Echo's point, but kind of begs the question of what are we kind of looking into? Because we were gonna do we were gonna do Kit Carson, they said to wait, we were gonna do the firehouse, they said to wait, and then we were gonna do the clubhouse if it was gonna be over there, but it's not gonna be over there.
I think we can
So-
still do the clubhouse over there, cause it's still close enough. I mean, I think, Main Street and then the golf course right there. I mean,
We could, wouldn't it make more sense to do a building downtown?
that's true, I mean, we could do the Fox. That's a big
I
one.
guess, I'm also curious, why can't we do the firehouse?
I was just told that he said we don't, not to do it, just if we can wait to do it, cause they're not, the city or the council hasn't made a decision yet on, I think he's trying to see if we can get it open or do something with it. And he just asked us to wait on it, he didn't say not to do it.
Does it need some kind of restoration work?
I'm not
Preservation?
sure, like I said, I'm not sure, he didn't say. He said if we had any questions, he can come in and talk to you about it, if he wants, if you want him to, we can do some time for him to come in. But I guess he's trying to get the city council to make a decision on it, on what to do with it, if we're gonna open it up again, or restore it, or,
Well, if they decide to open it, they have to put in some kind of access to the upstairs, which is gonna require them to put in an elevator. So they'd have to put in an elevator, and from my understanding, that's the reason why they don't want to landmark it, cause they are afraid that will affect it, but
it shouldn't though,
It
right?
wouldn't
Because that would be
affect
the
it.
Well, if
interior,
it's
not the
internal.
exterior.
so, well, no, that you couldn't put an elevator inside one of those buildings anyway because of the age of it. It's too old to outfit an elevator inside of a building, cause it would mess with the structure of the building. They'd have to put it on the outside. They're doing with the Brown building, or the photography studio.
The Frank,
Yeah, Frank Images, which is fine,
I thought
but
they put
I
it-
don't,
I thought
that's,
the
if they're
elevators-
worried about the elevator going in, and that's why they don't want us to do it, then that's stupid, because that wouldn't affect the actual landmarking of the building at all. If anything, it
I
would
don't know.
help with them getting the money to help get stuff done to that building.
well, we were told we can't do tax credits with, because
City
we're a
buildings.
municipality,
Yeah,
municipality.
municipality, that's right. But still, I mean, the landmarking wouldn't affect that kind of stuff, if that's what they're worried about, but again, I don't know. But
Okay, yeah, I don't know, he said if we want to, we can, like I said, he'll come in and he said he'll answer any questions.
I don't have the list in front of me, but
Well,
other
how about this, Tara? So do we have a new planning director, is that right?
We have a city planner, yes.
Can he come to our next meeting, our March meeting?
I can see if he can.
Could you invite him, Carlos? Chris, what do you think?
yeah, do I need to?
I just think we need to figure out, I mean, so now we're kind of back to what are we gonna landmark, or what are we gonna do for Echoes 24? And, I was really psyched about doing the clubhouse, thinking, oh, no, we could really make that work, and now I'm like, well, it's way distant from the main event. Do we need to evaluate what we're gonna landmark? And it doesn't sound like the firehouse is a good option right now for various reasons. So maybe we need to find another structure.
Yeah, I don't have the list in front of me, but are there other structures on Main Street besides the Fox that we can do?
That's the city building, no.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's interest with other private owners that wanna do stuff that's there on Main Street, so I don't know if we could
Skateland
get,
is-
yeah, exactly, I don't know if we could get them,
there's,
hurried on this, you know?
The
We
only
also-
one that I've heard from that has actually reached out and talked to me has been Skateland, and they're in the process of trying to get everything together for that. They're doing research right now for it.
I say, well, we also approved 155 East Main last year, so we could somehow maybe, mention that if it's all on Main Street, I don't know, maybe we could have some kind of, maybe we could produce some kind of flyer or something that's like a historic building guide for people that are there, if it's gonna be on Main Street, because there are plenty of buildings that are maybe not on the register, but have a lot of historic interest. And then we could also mention the things that have been recently added or.
Did Tom get a plaque for having his building locally?
I am not sure, I'll double check. I know we have the one here that we put on City Hall.
Yeah.
That was before my time, so I'll.
Yes, Tom did get a plaque,
He
yes.
did? Okay. I wasn't sure. Yeah, I mean, besides any kind of, business or the Fox Theater, I don't know, I
Is there
thought
reason
that
not
was
to do-
already locally landmarked, but I guess not.
Is it?
No, the Fox is not.
Oh.
They
sure.
didn't believe they were in our district.
If they are.
I know, and we explained it to them and we showed them on the map, but they were
Well-
told they were not,
I
so.
think we should do the Fox then, because that would be on Main Street, it's also would help them with their fundraising efforts and whatever. And-
It's owned by us, so it's not allowed, we can't
Okay,
get tax
so-
credits for it, that's the
Well,
issue.
I mean, by bringing, there are ways people can donate too.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying, we can bring.
I think it would be a good idea, but I'm like, I also, if you guys are really excited about doing the golf course, I don't see why, maybe we don't connect with the Santa Fe Trail Days. Maybe we move it a month and do it in July or something, and do it ourselves, and do an event over by the golf course.
Is there any kind of golf event already happening?
Well, it would just make it easier for us, money-wise.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
no,
We're
and
not
that's, I mean,
spending
It'd be
that was
easier if we do it on our
We're
own.
not getting as much money this year.
Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, it was just a
So-
suggestion, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it's a suggestion, but I mean, I like the idea of us doing the golf course, clubhouse. I still like the idea, I still want us to do that, but I liked it because that's where the event was gonna be.
We were pushing for it, but I guess from what we were told, the area that the city was looking at to doing the Santa Fe Trail Days doesn't have any electric connections. So vendors wouldn't be able to, they'd have to bring generators and things, and so they said it would be easier to do it somewhere where there's already electricity. So that was why it relocated.
Is it a certain section of Main Street or?
I think from what I understand, it's gonna be from, trying to think of those streets. In front of, Art Space, like 2 blocks this way, altogether. Cause it's gonna be they're gonna combine it with the car show that's going on that weekend.
Mhm.
So that way we're not irritating any businesses, cause it's already been planned and we'll be just connecting with them, already blocking the street off. So.
If we can, I guess, if we can try to do the Fox, that's probably the best bet right now.
And actually, Keely is now part of that project, so we can honestly get her to ask to help us do the landmarking for
But
it.
she probably has everything available.
Yeah, cause she's been working with them to get fundraising done. So I could reach out to her and see if she's willing to help us out.
I think that'd be good.
What do you think, Elizabeth?
I'm okay with that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know, it seems to have, like, if we're gonna do this event in conjunction with Santa Fe Trail Days, that they have the event down there, that we also landmark a building
Yeah.
that's close by, that we can be like, look, this is it, and I don't know if the city has
Yeah,
any plans to maybe open the lobby or something for that weekend, so that maybe people could just look at what's in, just look at.
I
things,
could ask
you know?
them and see what we can do. I know that Keely was trying to find out if we can do tours,
Yeah,
cause they were thinking of doing that as a fundraiser.
right,
So I don't know where she is in that process of getting permission to do that, cause I know that they did some inspections to see if it was safe
right,
to do it, so, I can talk to her,
Yeah.
touch base with her.
so that would be cool.
So, you know, in the past, what we've done, and I'm not saying we have to do it this way this time, but regardless of where we end up doing the Echoes 24, there's usually been, we've had a point person, like, you know, it doesn't default just to the chair because they're the chair. It should be, you know, is there someone that's going to coordinate, not just the staff person or Tara, but someone on the commission who's directly responsible for making sure all the details get handled. And you know, maybe we don't need that if we're doing the Fox and it's during Santa Fe Trail Days, and so there's not as many details, you know, to manage. But I'm not really, you know, if we're going to do this, I'm not really comfortable with this saying, okay, well, let's, you know, we'll talk to Keely or we'll do this. We really need to have, you know, someone who coordinates the Echoes event to make sure it, you know, it goes off the way we want it to.
Right,
I could take the lead on that.
you wanna do that?
Yeah. I like knowing things. And so I like figuring things out. And I guess one question though, you know, I'm wondering if we were going to do some other kind of, I don't know, aside from just like a ceremonial, you know, landmarking. Was there any, you know,
Yeah.
some other kind of, I don't know, lecture? Maybe we can get some people to talk about the history of the Fox and do like something else. Maybe it's Space to Create.
Well,
Maybe
yeah.
one of the nights,
Well,
maybe
that's
on
what we-
Saturday night or something.
That's what we talked about in the meeting, because we thought we were gonna do it up there, about doing something rap.
Right. Well, we can
And,
still do something
now
rap.
it's-
It's still rap related.
It's still rap related,
And
but
I
now
think
we
Yeah,
can
yeah,
concentrate
yeah.
on
we have more local and regional experts that we could tap into, like actually get someone to come talk to
yeah,
people or something. Because I tried to look for the rap guy, but I don't know if he's still around. The guy that wrote the book that I have.
right.
But you know, there are definitely
There's
people
there's
involved with
definitely,
the Fox project
yeah,
that would.
like Chris or somebody like that. Maybe we can get Chris to help or do some kind of speak, because he knows a lot about the building.
Chris Smith.
Chris Smith,
Yeah.
and
Well,
the
I
architect
think
too.
I think that Gregory
Gregory, there you go.
Friesen, the architect
Yeah,
that's working on the Fox, is pretty. I think he's, you know, he might be a good one to task with doing a rap lecture of some kind. I'm not sure, you know, I think he knows a lot about it, but as to whether he knows more than Chris might know or whatever, but I think at least one of those
Yeah.
would be good.
I have Chris's information. I actually need to contact him about some other things, so I can start there.
Yeah, just ask him, yeah. That would be great, Chris, if you could be the lead person. I mean, and I'll do, you know, if you have someone who can direct it, and I'm happy to do whatever, you know, to help and
Yeah.
just direct us.
too.
It just needs, it's really helpful to have a point person who's responsible.
Yeah. Willing to do that.
Awesome.
Alright, and then,
Awesome. Well, I think we got at least somewhere around that, but now we gotta concentrate thinking on what we're gonna do for it, now that we have a location.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess let's start thinking about like, if we're gonna invite people, who are gonna do it, cause we gotta invite them like immediately and get that nailed down.
Speakers, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to make it like the last event was. I mean, I know
Right.
really
No,
that was great. That was a great event. Not to say that that was overkill or whatever, but it kind of was in some aspects. But at the same time, it was a really great event, and I'm glad we did it. But
I don't think you need to do it every year that way, like we do like every other year.
Yeah,
or
exactly,
Every
exactly.
couple of years, you do a
And
big
with-
one and then a little one and then a
Yeah.
little, you know.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
with the 2026 being the anniversary thing, that's
Exactly.
more of a,
that should probably work out to
Larger.
make a big one or something, do something that year.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, yeah.
So yeah, if you can just come out with like a little something,
Mhm.
and we'll talk about it next meeting,
Yeah.
just about like, yeah, that's a good idea, or if we'll bring something to it, and then hopefully the next meeting we can nail down exactly what we're gonna do.
Yep.
Even if you need to kick some ideas before the next meeting to us or
Yeah,
whatever,
I'll-
individually, you can.
I'll, send out an email or whatever, and share some documents in the shared
Right.
drive, if I could.
Yeah, you can do, well, if you're gonna send out things, send it to Tara,
Oh.
Tara will send it to us.
Okay, gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha,
cause that's the way we gotta do it now.
Yeah,
gotcha.
So, okay, so the letter of support, did we get that?
I sent
Template
it, did I not send it to you guys?
I
I
didn't see
sent
it.
the PowerPoint and everything, I forwarded it over to you guys
So-
last week.
Yeah, I got the
Did you
email,
get it?
yeah.
Oh, maybe I
It had
just,
two
maybe it missed me,
attachments.
maybe I missed it, sorry.
That's
Um,
right.
Well, I was gonna say, I looked in, the guidelines here for the board say boards shall not endorse projects put forward by outside persons or groups.
Oh,
So, but it says that, only the city is permitted to endorse a project proposed by an outside group. Because all boards are subgroups of the city, is what it says. So,
well, that's a good thing you read that first.
I did some research also into the Kathy Williams story and everything. I found some really interesting things I sent to Mel. I mentioned to her what I found here, that we may not be able to offer a letter of support, but that we could ask the city to.
I'll double check, cause Audra didn't say anything when I brought it up to her, that
Oh.
wasn't allowed to,
I
so.
don't know, maybe, I mean, it doesn't say letter, but it says endorse. I mean, a letter of endorsement,
support
kind of,
is
support is
kind of
kind of
endorsing,
endorsement, so I
Yeah.
kinda read those to be the same, but.
I will double check on that then, but also there might be a holdup with it anyways, because of the location on where she's wanting to put the statue is actually a right of way.
Oh,
And, cause it's right on the sidewalk, and that would cause a problem for ADA, for wheelchairs to go around it and stuff.
Okay.
So they might have to move the location anyways. So there might be a hiccup. She talked to a couple of this, city, I think Steve and our city planner. And they're gonna talk to her again to see about maybe she should have come to city council first.
I was gonna say, she could also go to city council directly and present to them
yeah,
and ask them
and they
to.
probably
Yeah.
would be able to give her
Yeah.
that endorsement.
Yeah, so, but I will ask Audra tomorrow to see if we're allowed to write a letter. I mean,
Okay.
technically, I guess, I mean, it is an outside, but it's being done by somebody who is with this, cause isn't he a previous city council member?
Who,
The gentleman that's,
Pasco?
yeah,
Is he?
I thought he was, wasn't he?
I
I have to
Yeah.
check.
don't know.
I'm not 100% sure on that.
Not 100% sure either.
But, yeah, I mean, good thing catching that, but, I mean, at the same time, we do support them, but let's
Yeah.
make sure that we're,
Allowed to,
that we're allowed to do something like that before we just go ahead and do something and then get into hot water. So, and then if anything, if the city wants to, go ahead and do some, then, I mean, maybe we can be like, hey, can you put us on it too, that the historic preservation
Preservation.
commission
yeah.
also supports that.
I also did get her the specifications on what she's allowed to use and build and everything, so she did get that from us.
Oh, for the city,
Requirements for a sculpture, actually, there's not much, I mean, we require a lot of information about what it's gonna be on.
okay,
What the
not
base
so
is.
much what the statue is made of or anything like that.
It's what it's on, so that it's safe,
Right,
it doesn't fall or anything.
right, okay. Alright, well,
I'll let
Um,
you guys know by the next meeting for the letter.
I asked Tara to just put the Main Street trees on it. I know that trees really have nothing to do with historical buildings and stuff that we have to do with, but I saw somebody comment something about the history of trees, and I mean, really, when you look into old pictures, there's no trees on Main Street, so.
There were no trees on Fisher's Peak.
Yeah, there was no trees basically anywhere in town, cause they were used to build most of the town. In some aspects, and then they're also used for firewood, so, I mean. My stance is I love trees and I love the trees to stay, but I know that it is a bigger issue than, history has to deal with. It's more of, they should have been dealt with in the past and they weren't, and now we're reaping the bad benefits of them possibly needing to come down. So unfortunately, I guess that's what it is, but it sucks.
And I don't know if any of this exists yet, but given enough time, some of these trees could theoretically damage some historical buildings.
Yeah.
As well.
Possibly.
That's why they're being trimmed the way they are, because they're pushing up against the buildings anyways.
Yeah. And I know there's been, I mean, I'm also on the tree board, but, you know, there's been a lot of issues with them in the past, they haven't been trimmed properly. You know, a lot of the bedding for it wasn't created properly, stuff like that, but, it really has nothing to do with historic buildings or anything like that, so, I think we just need to let the city deal with this issue as far as this board goes, and do you have anything to say about that? Sorry, Elizabeth.
Who, me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Elizabeth, sorry, Elizabeth.
No, I think I agree. It's, you know, it's not really within our realm, so, yeah, it's a bigger issue.
Right, okay, so enough of that one. And then the last thing we had was, Lauren's seat. Now unfortunately, he decided to call it quits with us, which that was unfortunate. I wish he would have stayed on a little bit longer. I mean, he did suggest I be the chairperson, and now he's leaving, so that's a plan for me. So, but I don't know. I know that it's up to the city council who they decide to place on the board, but they also take from a pool of, you know, community members that are interested in it, that write in a letter of what is it?
Interested citizen
Right.
interest report, or
Interest
Board.
form, whatever, yeah,
Yeah.
so, I just wanted to bring up this so that if, for us to talk about, like, if we had any ideas of people that we thought that, I mean, I know we don't, it's kind of frowned upon to like push somebody into this, but again, we're on this board, we might know somebody in our own community. Again, we don't have no say who's gonna be put on this board, it's really up to the city council if they wanna put them. It's really up to us to, if we want somebody, if we have an interest, somebody to be like, hey, there's an open seat, please put an interest form so that you show the city that you're interested in this, and maybe they will choose you. So, I know one person, Keely.
I was thinking, yeah, and she would be, she's an architect, so she would fit.
actually, honestly, yeah, she would be.
She would fit
She's
the
probably
design professional, probably the,
Best
Yeah.
suited person in this community that's local that would fit this, so I did ask her and I did tell her that we did have open seat, and she said that she was gonna put in, so. But I suggest anybody else to put in for this too, don't just think, just because I suggested Keely that she should have it, like, I think we should all have our own.
Honestly, I think she'd be almost a perfect fit,
I think she's
I was
probably
gonna
the
suggest her
best
as well
one.
if she was,
really,
She has
cause
the
it's her
bandwidth for it.
background and she has a lot of.
Well, let me ask a question about that, cause this relates also to, you know, we've talked about one of us working on the landmark applications, right?
Yeah.
That we would just do it ourselves, we don't need a consultant, which I generally agree with. But I also have a question then, so when it comes time to vote on the landmark application that one of us has completed, would not that person need to recuse themselves from the vote?
I was actually
If they're the
going to ask the
ones
same question, honestly.
that actually completed the application?
Well, no, because I think if we would be okay if we have like a proxy deliver the landmarking application, because it's a city property. So if we have a city employee come in, like maybe the city planner, come in and present it.
Yeah, but whoever signs the application, this was completed by me, but they're also on the Historic Preservation Commission. I'm just asking, I think it has a perception of a conflict of interest, in my view.
Well, yeah, so
Whether it is an actual conflict or not, I'm not really sure.
Well, I have the wording here. It says no member of the commission shall appear on his own behalf or on the behalf of any private person before either the Historic Preservation Commission or City Council in connection with any matter of the commission. But I think that would be like if she was trying to
landmark her own.
her own property, yeah. So I think the way I'm reading it is that if it's a city property, then there's no problem.
Well, but we wouldn't be limited to just a city property down the road. I mean, we want to make sure that we could,
Right.
Landmark any property that came before us. So I think it's just a question that I want to put on the record. And then the other one would be, I think Huey, I'm so glad we have her expertise in so many ways. Again, I think I have questions about her being on the commission, not just her personally, but someone who's actively, working as a historic preservationist who's involved in, on the one hand, that's a lot of good skill to bring to the commission, but there would be times when, there could be some potential conflicts. I just think we need to, have our eyes open about that.
Right.
And then I would hope that we would look at the list of people, I think, sounds like we are, if we're talking about Key Lake, that the ordinance recommends. We haven't had a realtor on the commission for a couple of terms now. I think it would be, I don't have anybody in mind to answer Carlos's question to recommend, but those are just my thoughts on that.
But she doesn't just do historic preservation though, because her area of expertise is that, but she's an engineer, so she does architectural and stuff like that generally.
But she's working with
The
Dana
funds.
now,
Yeah,
so anything that
for
they would,
fundraising though, actually is what she's working with her for.
yeah, but anything that would have to do with probably them should probably have possibly
Well, she
have
would
to
just
recuse
have to,
herself
I think, yeah, she just have to
that
recuse
vote.
herself. It's the same thing with
But-
the city council with, or
Yeah.
like planning and zoning when they have people that are,
But I think like what you brought up with us preparing stuff and not being able to like vote on it, like especially when it has to do with other properties, I don't think that we would have an issue with that because it's nothing for our personal gain. I mean, it's kind of like we're actually helping somebody for their efforts. I don't know. That is a good question though.
Yeah.
I would have to be case by
But I
case.
think it's just
I guess it would be.
that we're not being objective, that someone could say, you always have to anticipate how it looks to somebody else, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
No, I
if
know.
they say, oh, you were favoring, X or Y, or I don't know, I just have my radar up about stuff like that,
Yeah.
maybe more than most people, but just some thoughts.
Well, it would be a case by case, and it would be depending on if the city council puts her on the commission anyways. Cause she's gonna have to go in front of them and interview just like anybody else.
Well, it's a question I have too, because I've thought about trying to help certain people with applications and stuff like that, but is that something I can really do? I guess is my question. It's the same sort of situation.
Yeah, I don't know. I
I don't
think
know.
it's more us doing a civic duty, I don't know.
Yeah, so I have information I wanna share and I wanna help
Yeah.
get
Yeah, exactly.
more buildings on the list and,
Yeah.
you know, I have, you know, verified, you know, sources, whatever. So it's not like, and it's not like we have a private or personal gain interest in it, you know, there's not.
No, I think it's
I think like
just,
you're saying, it's, you know, if on a case-by-case basis, if it was like I was trying to, you know,
if you
I
were
had a
to
friend
get
who had
it,
a house, I was trying to
Yeah.
get it, you know, cause he's gonna.
Oh, yeah, that's something
Like-
different, like
Right, but if it's
investing
like
into
a,
something,
you know,
yeah.
well-known business, building that's been around, you know, and everyone wants it to be on the list, you know, and
Yeah,
I don't see why we shouldn't be able to help them.
I did double check with Holy Trinity, they are not doing any work on the exterior of the building yet. They are still in the planning phases,
oh
so.
yeah, that was, Derek had that question, yeah.
I just wanted, I did
I
double
didn't
check.
think so, I've been looking at that building, I haven't seen them do anything on
Yeah,
that
they're
side.
just
It's all
doing
the
abatement
inside
right now,
stuff, yeah.
trying to get rid of the asbestos.
Mhm. Okay, well, I think that was all, I don't know, is there something else we wanna speak about before, we end our little work session? Chris, did you have anything to bring up?
I don't think so, I'm just gonna send you, so I don't know, procedure-wise, Carlos, how you wanna do this. So I know we have to stick to, when we have our meetings, we have to stick to whatever's on the agenda to talk about, because that's, you know, part of our open meetings law requirements. So, but I have things that I would like to have put, or consider to be put on the agenda for next time. So my thought was, as I send it to you, you can decide, you know, if you want it, and then you can send it on to Tara. Does that work?
Yeah, if you wanna do it that way, or you can send it to Tara directly, I mean, I don't wanna be the.
Well, you're the chair, so you can
Well,
use your
okay, I'll
decision.
be the decision maker, okay, yes, you can do that.
Okay, that's what I'll do. I'll just, because I think it's, you know, it needs to be your call, or, you know, I mean, but I would like it to be considered, because I do have some, like, about the donations to Temple Aaron, different things like that. So
Definitely.
I'll send you an email and you can send it
Oh,
on.
yeah, the
Well-
we've got 2 senators coming for that.
Yeah, and oh man, see, I wanted to talk about that too. And I wanted to talk about the donating to the different groups.
I kinda wanted to talk about grants too.
The membership,
I guess I should have
yeah.
added something on here.
Yeah, and that's right, usually you're supposed to stick to it, cause if you don't, then it's not a known thing of an item of discussion.
Well, our next meeting is before the Temple Aaron thing, so it's plenty of time.
Okay,
So our next meeting is March 13th,
okay,
so that will be plenty of time before Temple Aaron to make a
Alright.
decision on anything like that.
alright, yes,
Okay,
you guys write down what you need and send it to me, and then I'll make sure Tara gets it so we can make sure to talk about it.
There you go.
sounds good. Thank you.
Dang it, thank you.
Thanks.
Alright, I guess we're done.
Are we done?
Yeah?
Yep, we're done.
Let me just write these down, cause I don't wanna forget them.